Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we give no fuck on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yucks, trying and having no luck, because we all know dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are two of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this show to make any buck. Life as a chicken whose feathers they pluck. Why does it work? Well, here is the crux. They both know dating kinda sucks. Dating kinda sucks.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Adam Heath Avitable.
This is the DKS Podcast, a podcast about love, sex, culture, and society. This week, we'll be asking the age-old question, would you rather be alone in the woods with a man or a bear? Enjoy the show.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, now's the time to like and subscribe and turn on notifications, or don't. Like, we can't force you to do anything, and we're all about consent here. So if you consent to do these things, then you will really enjoy our content, I promise.
So men have been losing their minds across social media recently over the fact that women are saying if they were alone in the woods, they would feel safer with a bear over a man. Why is that? Why would men be the scarier option? Today, Adam and I will be discussing why women feel this way and why men just aren't understanding this scenario.
But before we get into a man versus bear scenario, we're going to catch up on our lives, answer a question from a listener who called in with a voicemail. And of course, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and your input does help us so much. So please, if you're listening and you have a question or scenario or anything you want to share with us or you're struggling with, we want to hear from you. So you can call our DKS hotline and leave a voicemail at 407-519-0181 or email us at datingkindasuckspodcast@gmail.com today. So, Sarah, last time we talked, you were planning an anniversary, 4-year anniversary with Roy. Did you guys actually end up celebrating?
We did, just delayed. So the anniversary update is our actual date. We said, fuck that. My friend was coming into town. So we pushed it off to the following weekend, 4/20. I think you had made a comment between just you and me, like, it's a great day to celebrate. Good for you guys.
That's right. Yes. But, yeah, lots of fun, especially in, I imagine, a state like Washington.
Well, no edibles were had, but I have been in my baking era because I was planning this tea party that I had last weekend. And so I made this olive oil cake as a test run before making it for the tea party. And I was very proud of it. Turned out great. And Roy loves sweets. So immediately he has a piece. I have a piece. We eat it. And we were heading out to go downtown for our anniversary date in a couple hours. And probably 30 minutes after eating the cake, I was like, why is my stomach feeling weird? So I just laid down on the couch. Roy was in his room playing games. I didn't ask him if he was feeling weird about it. And an hour goes by right before we're getting ready to leave. I was like, my stomach feels really fucked up. And he's like, yeah, I've been shitting my brains out recently too. I blame your olive oil cake. And I was like, really? Could it be the olive oil cake? And then I looked it up that too much olive oil can actually be a bad thing, just like the Starbucks olive oil drinks that they have that I've never... There's like the Oleto drink. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's just olive oil and coffee.
It's kind of well known that olive oil is good for you. Like if you have constipation, a spoonful of olive oil is that's like castor oil is kind of so like any type of oil, anything that's going to help ease things out. And so a lot of olive oil in a cake is I could definitely see that being a cleanser.
Like 2 cups of olive oil.
2 cups. Holy shit.
Maybe 2.5 cups. I mean, that was the base with lemon juice, lemon zest, and orange zest. So it had like a lemony taste to it, but the base was olive oil. Yeah. So I kept eating it. Roy just immediately wanted me to throw it away, but I was proud of my baking experience.
You said it tasted good, right?
It tasted fucking great. It was fantastic. So I just had to have smaller pieces is what I learned. And then eventually I threw it out, and I didn't make it for the tea party because I didn't want anyone shitting themselves.
Well, but I think it also depends on how used to olive oil you are. Like, and if you cook pasta every night and you're putting in a lot of olive oil, it's not going to phase you. I
Maybe,
think that if your body's used to it. But do you remember those Olean potato chips?
No.
There were these potato chips that came out that a while ago that they had to put a disclaimer out because eating too many of them would result in anal leakage.
That's one way to put it. Cool.
Yeah. So it was a huge thing. There's so many parody commercials about it and making fun of it for that. Yeah.
Well,
But it was Olestra or something, wasn't it? It was, which is sometimes it's supposed to be like I think something that was better for your cholesterol, but I think it might be more oil based, and so that was part of the issue, I think.
yeah. So lesson learned. It
Yep.
almost derailed our anniversary outing because, an hour before Roy's shitting his pants and I'm not feeling so great. So we ended up getting on the boat, going downtown, and
Hey, let's be clear, by the way, he didn't actually shit his pants, because I don't want listeners thinking that he legitimately shit his pants. He said shit his pants.
He didn't legitimately shit his pants. He was just going to the bathroom a lot.
Right. Those are two very different things.
You're right. I was just joking with him. I was like, you gotta shit your pants again?
Yeah.
That didn't happen. But so our anniversary, I kind of nudged him to do the planning for it. So it was a surprise when we got downtown. And funny enough, as we're walking through the streets, kind of going in different areas, I'm like, are we doing this tour? Are we going here? Where are we going? Just kind of making jokes along the way. And then we turned the corner to Smith Tower, which is one of the oldest high rises in Seattle that used to actually be the tallest building west of the Mississippi back in the day. They have a rooftop bar, and they have a fun little tour that you can go through as well. And it's all really well restored and it's beautiful. And I think there's office buildings and people live there as well. So we did that and took some photos, had a couple of drinks, and then we went out to dinner after. And it was a really good time, minus the fact that midway through the tour, before we got up to the top, Roy had to go to the bathroom again, and he was down and out for like 20 minutes.
Oh my
so
God.
I still felt bad, but it ended up being a fine time.
I can only imagine how funny it would have been if you'd actually not tested it and just served that to your entire your party that you had.
I would have felt really bad.
Kind of funny.
Especially because I would have probably had a huge piece because I'm the
Yeah.
proud person who baked it, who wants to try it, and then I'm sitting there in stomach pain the entire time. So I'm happy I didn't
I feel like
do
somehow
that.
it would end up like that scene from Bridesmaids or whatever, where it's
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of, so let's get into your party too. You had a tea party.
I did have a tea party. So as many of you know, I have been doing a lot of estate sale shopping, just thrifting. And along the way, I've come across a couple of hauls of really cool teacups and nice plates and things. So I've been building up my tea party dining wear, I guess you could say, and hosted 4 friends over on Saturday. And hosting is a lot. I posted 2 other times, but it was only 2 other people, and also Roy was part of the experience. But this tea party was no boys allowed, as Roy continued to tell me the entire time. So I made. There's just a lot to prepare. So I made the cucumber sandwiches, the egg salad sandwiches, the blueberry bread. I was going to do a cake, and I said, fuck that. I'm not going to find another recipe. And then just setting up the table, I did this little flower wall. I set the music. I put together, lemonade and water and, just all these like nice things together on this table, and made sure it smelled nice, and then had to clean beforehand. And then, of course, you can't throw any of those dishes in the dishwasher after the fact. So it was a lot of cleaning up after and taking like 30, 45 minutes just to break everything down. So it was a lot. And I think if I did it again, I did enjoy it. I do want to say it was a great time hanging out with my friends and doing something different, because I've never hosted a tea party. And the tea party things I've been to have been at restaurants and things like that, where it's $35 for high tea or whatever. And those are fine, but it's not the same as having something at your house. So next go around when I host people, because I would like to do a dinner party or something like that. If we host, I would say Roy and I make the main dish, and then people bring sides or an appetizer or dessert. So it's just well-rounded, and I don't have to do all of the planning.
Yes. I mean, as someone who's hosted many, many parties, many dinner parties, never a tea party, but like, same concepts though.
Yeah.
It is. It's exhausting and it's a lot of work. And you're up late the night before getting everything ready, and you get up at the crack of dawn to make sure everything needs to be prepared, and then trying to coordinate all of the food. So especially if there's any hot food, to make sure it all comes out at the same time. When I would do Thanksgiving dinner for my family, we might have 30 people over, and I was the only one cooking. And so I would have to make sure that the turkey and the potatoes and the corn and stuffing and all of that was coming out around the same time. So it was all done and ready to, ready to eat all around the same time, that nothing was going to get cold. And it was exhausting. And I would barely ever get a chance to actually enjoy it, because I'd be so like ready to like start kind of like as people ate, like take, kind of clean up
Let's
some of
start
it because the
cleaning up.
kitchen's a
So
mess from doing everything too. Yeah. So it's exhausting, but it is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to host things like this too.
yeah, I really did enjoy hosting, but it was just so much work. Literally 30 minutes before people were starting to arrive, I wasn't dressed yet. I had, just
Right.
the it's like girls going out for a night on the town type of thing. I didn't have my ritual of doing my hair and listening to music, and I was just rushing through the entire thing until people arrived, and then I slowed down, and
Yeah.
it was all fine.
And you can also another alternative too would be to kind of rotate and suggest someone else hosts, and then but everyone brings something each time. But if you
Yeah.
rotate, then because even if you do have people bring stuff, you still have to do all the other, like there's still so much other work you have to do to prepare your place for it and all of that.
Oh,
when you
trust me, I
host.
know. It
Yeah.
was like cleaning the fucking baseboards for no goddamn reason because
Right,
because it was
something
just
that
so
nobody
stupid.
gives a shit about, but you're like, yeah, no, I get it.
I can't have some dust on this baseboard. It'll be a bad look. And no one's
Yeah.
going to notice it but fucking me. But it bothers me because I moved the table out of the way. So now that wall's showing. And I don't know, just really stupid things that I had to clean. And it was like my last hurrah before I go on my trip. So
Where are you going now?
I'm going to, should I just say Venezuela again?
Just say Venezuela again, because that's all.
That's
That's all I'm
just
gonna
the
think
joke
of this.
between you and me.
Yeah.
I am going to South America. I'll be going to Argentina and spending a month there.
Okay,
Throughout
so you're
May.
gonna be there for a month, all right? So we'll see if we manage to record any episodes, depending on the quality of your internet while you're there.
I think it should be better given that I'm at an Airbnb and not a hostel situation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I
Are,
can control the level of noise because I just have one roommate who I know and have traveled with. So she's pretty chill if
are you
I
traveling on
needed to
your own
leave.
group, or are you traveling like with a group again, or just you and somebody?
Just me and two other friends. So
Okay.
I'm not doing a travel program like I've done in
Right.
the past. I've done that twice now. They're so expensive, and
Yeah.
they've also increased their prices as well. So they used to be $2,000 or $2,200 for the month, and now they're around $3,000 to $3,200 depending. And that's just out of my price range, and that's not including the flight or anything else, right?
Right.
So I've just decided, I have a group of travel friends. If they're free to travel, I'll go with them. And I haven't really done solo traveling since, I don't even know now. Guatemala? No, Romania. I think Romania was the last time I really did a big solo trip. So, and I'm not really about it right now.
No. Well, I think
if I can
you have a
get my
couple
friends
friends
to go, I will.
around. Yeah. Like, because then you can still go do your own thing. But if you want to go out with people, you've got the small group there to do stuff with as well. And I feel like that's kind of the best of both worlds, because you can still go off and be solo for part of it.
Exactly.
But a month solo can be kind of kind of hard.
Well, the problem with traveling a month solo is that you'll meet people at the beginning and they're just about to leave. So you're always feeling like you're missing people, which is why the travel group was good, because yes, I'm traveling solo there, but once I get there, everyone's arriving at the same time. So we're all experiencing these new things together versus people who are leaving in 2 days. They've already done all the things you might want to do. So you just have a misconnection of just your experiences in that city or whatever.
Yeah, makes sense. Well,
Yeah.
That'll be exciting. So you leave. Actually, we're recording this on April 30th, right? You leave tomorrow.
I leave tomorrow.
May 1st.
Yep.
Yeah.
May 1st through June 2nd. That's when I'll be gone. So
crazy.
yippee.
And then you've got another big trip I know we've talked about too, that you're going to the Olympics. Isn't that right after that?
That's in end of July.
Oh, end of July. Okay. So
I'll have some time back in Seattle.
Whole 6 weeks or whatever back in
That's fine. That's
in
just
Seattle.
enough time.
Just enough time to be ready to go again.
Yeah. I don't know. As everyone keeps asking me how excited I am for the Olympics, I feel less and less excited just because of all the negative things that are being posted on social media and people saying, don't come to Paris. It's going to be a shit show. And I have to remind myself, there's no way London was prepared. I don't know.
No, it's going to be a shit show regardless. But, as long as you can make the most out of the shit show, that's fine.
Right. Yeah. I think what worries me is I'm trying to, because I've been to Paris. So my expectations, I already have an expectation of the city and experience beforehand. And I know it's not going to be like this go around.
Yeah.
But my mom, it's her first time going. So she's expecting this big Parisian vacation. And it's setting the expectations of you're going during the probably busiest time in modern day history.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not going to be the same. I'm just going to grab a little baguette and walk around the streets and then look at the Eiffel Tower. It's going to be insanity. So.
Yeah, Paris itself. Yeah, I can only imagine. And just tell people you're from Canada. That's
I never had an issue with that before. It didn't matter.
In
Plus, I'm
France,
going to be
though,
rooting for the United States during the
that's
game,
true.
so that
That's true.
doesn't. You're Canadian, but you're rooting for America. That's odd.
That's true. Good point. Exciting. So yeah, we'll see. This might be our last episode for a month. I'm hoping.
I don't
Fingers
think so.
crossed, it
I
won't be,
really
but
don't think
we'll
so.
see. That's all right. If it happens to be, it happens to be. It's not the end of the world. We'll come back when we come back. So, that's all that's going on with you. 4th
Yeah.
anniversary.
So, what about you? I
Shit in your
guess
pants, all types of things.
I haven't been. No one was shitting their pants. Let's clarify again. Everyone was fine. Have you been shitting your pants?
I
I guess
have
is a
not.
better
I have not.
question.
I think I've talked about it before, but now I'm balancing 3 different meal plans of those like they send it to you and it's already prepared and all you have to do is throw it in the microwave for 2 minutes and you have a meal. And so I have 3 different companies that I'm like testing out right now, and I'm pretty impressed with all 3 of them. They all have different pluses and minuses, so I might try to keep it, but it's so much easier than buying groceries. Like I still have to buy like the base groceries, like the core groceries, but I don't have to go shopping for all these little ingredients. And I don't, I'm just myself. So it's like, it's nice and easy. And just to throw something in the microwave, eat, and then I'm done. It's been great. So I've been,
It's as close to having a pill.
it basically is. Yeah. Which is exactly, the ideal world is just taking a pill and not having to worry about eating ever again. That'd be fantastic. And I know people who hate that. They so abhor that idea because they're just like, they love just the whole thing about eating, the whole experience and everything like that. And to me, it's just like, no, it's just a pain in the ass. Like, it's just time wasted.
If you want to go out and have an event or you're traveling and experience other foods, sure, eating
Yeah.
is great. But during my normal Monday through Friday grind of work and dinner and the age-old question in our household, what are we doing for dinner?
Right.
It drives
Yeah.
me fucking batshit crazy. And I'd be like, just take your fucking pill and shut the fuck up. It just it bothers me so much.
Exactly. So yeah, I've been just hanging out here in Tulsa. I've been doing stand up as I've mentioned. Had a show last week, which was nice. It's nice to be able to stretch my legs a little bit and do a little more time, and submitting to a few festivals too to try to see if I can get some additional time. I think it's right now I'm at that point now where I'm working on brand new material and I want to do like significantly longer sets. So I'm going to start putting myself out there in the local, like we have a Facebook group, scene being like, hey, look, I'm like, I want to do like 20 to 30 minutes right now. Like I'm trying to really kind of get that stuff ironed out. So we'll see. We had, it's funny. We were a part of a Slack group for Tulsa Remote, which I've mentioned. And
you cause all the controversy.
I get in trouble all the time for being sarcastic or whatever, but or bullying apparently by like making fun of somebody. And
that would be bullying, making
that
fun
was
of
not.
somebody.
I
I
mean, he
just say
deserved it. And bullying means there's like a power dynamic here. We were 2 people. He was the idiot. I was making fun of him for being an idiot. It wasn't like everyone was piling on him or anything like that, But I feel like that's not bullying.
the way you described it was definition, and I was making fun of him.
Yeah, I don't know. But we had so then we had the tornadoes that came through that hit Nebraska, and then the next day we're kind of all in our area. And it's funny, the Slack channel has they have a huddle. They have this one weather guy who everyone will get in and they'll talk for an hour and track the weather and all of this. And I don't know if it's because I'm from Florida and hurricanes don't, whatever. And you have tornadoes with hurricanes all the time too. But it's just like, yeah, it's a storm. And if it comes, then and if it gets close enough, you can tell that it's about to hit you. Go in your fucking bathroom and lay in the tub. End of story. You don't I feel like you don't need to. The more you harp about it and get all anxious and everything like that, the worse your time is going to be. And when nothing happens, you're going to be you're going to waste all that energy and emotional energy for nothing. So I was
so Adam did not get in his tub is basically what
I had
saying.
the windows, or not the windows open, but I had the blinds open and I was watching the rain. It was really pretty cool. And it was nice rain and lightning, and nothing. It didn't come to us, which it did hit a couple areas. But if there had been a tornado, I would have heard it. They have tornado sirens here too, and
most places, yeah.
And I would have I would have sought shelter if I had needed to, but to obsess over it is just, I feel unhealthy. But
so wait, go back to the Slack group now.
So the Slack group just has there's a Tulsa weather channel in our Tulsa remote group, and they like this weather guy will like give all this warning, but at one point he said something like, "This tornado is not weakening; it is heading towards Tulsa. You have an hour to prepare. I suggest hunkering down now." And I was like, I'm in the middle of a movie. Like, I think I'm just gonna watch my movie, and if the power goes out, then I know there's a problem. But like, I'm not gonna go like lay in the bathroom right now just because like in an hour it might come through and might come to this one aspect with this one part of downtown. Like it feels like overkill. I mean, be alert and be aware. Don't be stupid about it, but you also don't need to like be. I don't know. It was a little. I don't want to say frustrating, but I was rolling my eyes is basically what I was doing. I was rolling my eyes.
We get it. You don't like people. We know.
Well, yeah, it's not, but like they're perfectly nice people. They're just overreacting to stupid bullshit. But and I didn't roll my I wasn't rolling my eyes publicly. I didn't say anything. I didn't post anything sarcastic or funny in there. I let them have their their moments of freaking out over over what ended up being nothing. But whatever. So yeah, so we've had some a few tornadoes come through. It has been no big deal. And I think especially
it's been no big deal because they haven't hit Tulsa directly.
Yeah, but even if they hit Tulsa directly, like it wouldn't that would be bad and that would be tragic. I mean, the towns that they did hit, it's very tragic. But like you can't control where they're going to go. You don't know where they're going to go. There's not really they really can't predict. They can disappear, then touch back down somewhere else. So essentially, essentially you can do is just be alert and be aware that there is, one in the general area. And then if it comes towards you, then yes, you seek safety. There's not really like much else you can do. But I don't know. Yeah, what else has been going on? There really hasn't been much else in my life. The comedy, been doing some karaoke, which has been fun. And yeah, that's really it. Going to the movies, living my life.
Just being chill.
Yeah. Did I go on any dates? I don't think I've been in no dates.
You have your good group of friends that you go out and drink with. So I've been seeing that on social.
Yes. Yeah. Got my neighbors. And so they like to go out and and then also the comics, that's kind of a good group of, meeting them as well. And yeah, this, I will say Tulsa remote, and I would suggest anybody who is a remote worker who is like looking to get out of their town, it might not be a bad idea to apply to it because they are really do a pretty good job of trying to keep you they give you a lot of community if you want it, which is nice. I actually signed up for this lunch program where it was they were going to pitch you, put you with 5 other people and then cover your lunch one day, like just one way day during the week, at a decent place. So you could just talk to other Tulsa remote people who might have similar interests. And I signed up for it. And then their email inviting me and telling me what date I had to meet everybody went to spam and I didn't see it and I missed the lunch. I was very disappointed by that. I know. Because I was actually like, I was like, oh, I'll be social. I'll go out and do that. I don't mind going out and, grabbing lunch and having a drink and chatting with people. But yeah, so that was unfortunate. But yeah, they have this idea accelerator that I'm participating in this weekend, which is over at University of Tulsa, and it's essentially an kind of like a entrepreneur support, and they're trying to help you figure out if you have an idea for a concept, how to get it executed and delivered and created into in kind of the real world, and that they have like something like $50,000 worth of grant money to give out to people whose ideas they choose to support. So I'm gonna go do that. I've got an idea that I've been working on that I'll go pitch to them.
You're not going to share it because you don't want someone to steal it and patent it for you. I get it. I get it.
My biggest concern, and you're going to laugh, is that I am so used to working on my own during the day, and like I'll get up, I'll do some work, and I'll be like, I'm ready for a nap, and I will literally just like sit in my recliner or go like lay in bed and take a quick half-hour nap because I'm just like, I haven't had to do like anything that's like a solid, legitimate day of work in a long time.
8 hours consecutively?
Not consecutively, because I'll just be like, oh, I want to take a break, or I'll go do dishes, or I'll go take a shower, or I'll fold laundry. Like it's always like doing something. This thing starts at fucking like 8 a.m. and goes to 5 p.m. on Saturday, and on Sunday it's like 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. And they pay you for going, by the way, too. So I'm like, you have to go to the whole thing to get paid the money. But I'm like, I'm gonna I'm gonna be like Trump. I'm gonna doze off in the middle of it. I'm just gonna be sitting there and be like, oh, it's time for my nap. I'm just gonna have to like bring sunglasses so I can just take a little
No, you
nap.
don't want to do that. If people are looking at you
I
for
know,
who they can
I
give money
know,
to, and it's the
I
dude
know, I
sleeping over
know,
there,
I know. That's what I'm. That's the one part I'm not looking forward to. I was like, I
you
really
got
don't
to
want to
be
have to go
on.
be on for that long. I don't know
Now
what I'm
you
gonna do.
understand my pain of going to Las Vegas for work and having to be on for
Oh
those 4
yeah,
days.
God.
It was just exhausting.
I think I still have some old Adderall somewhere around here.
Stop
I
it.
just have to pop
No.
those. That might work. No, I'm serious. I think I've got that.
Does it expire?
If it does, I mean, what does it just become more potent? I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Oh boy.
So yeah, or I'll just bring a bunch of 5-hour energies and just shoot those while I'm.
That's good for your heart.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
let's just do that.
I mean, it's like Red Bull and vodka, right? Anyways, yes, that's all that's going on in my life. I have nothing else to add. I don't think.
Okay, well, moving on.
Moving on. Let's continue. Let's do a quick little shout out. We have a Patreon, which we post on there whenever we do episodes. We tend to post new content, little bonus episodes, 10-12 minute episodes of us just kind of chatting after we record. And you can join Patreon at patreon.com/DKS Podcast and become a member for like $5 a month. It's just a good way to show us support for all this work that we do in both this and the Facebook group, which is still going strong. So I'd like to give a shout out to Jennifer Garal, who became a member recently, and thank you for your support of all of our work.
Yeah, thanks, Jennifer. And with that, I guess we're not going to do what to see. Sorry, there was a pause there. I was like, Adam, anything else you want to say? We will be answering a voicemail from a listener when we get back from this quick break. Before we get into this voicemail, again, this is the year of the listener. So don't forget that we have our DKS hotline that you can call anytime, anywhere at 407-519-0181. Or you can leave us an email at datingkindofsuckspodcast@gmail.com if you don't feel comfortable with your voice. You can also DM us as well on our Instagram. Anyway, to get your story out there, you can just say hi, hello, ask a complicated question, or just, something random that you saw on social media that you want our take on. But yeah, without delay, here's the voicemail.
Hey, Sarah and Adam. I love your podcast. I just want to start off by saying that, Sarah, I love your voice. And I'm mentioning this because I remember in the beginning, a guy that you were dating had mentioned how you don't have a good podcast voice, and I completely disagree. So I was curious to see what you guys thought about this. I was having a conversation with my best friend, and he was telling me that when rejecting a man, it's best to just give a solid no, opposed to saying, no, I have a boyfriend. He says that one thing that could go on in a guy's mind is, I guess, depending on the type of dude, is, oh, she's saying no, she has a boyfriend, but if she didn't have a boyfriend, she'd be interested. So let me go ahead and just push a little more or linger a little more, and she may change her mind. And so I'm curious to see what you guys thought about this. Like, maybe if Adam, have you ever thought about it in this way? And Sarah, have you ever been in a situation where you rejected a man saying that, no, you have a boyfriend, and he pushed a little harder? Yeah, I look forward to hearing from you guys. Bye.
So first off, thank you for commenting on my podcasting voice. I forget who said I had a terrible podcasting voice, but that's pretty funny.
I don't remember who that was either. But I do. When she said that, I was like, oh, I do remember that guy saying
there
that.
was,
like,
yeah.
I'm like, what a shitty thing to say.
What an irrelevant asshole. I don't know.
Yeah.
Can't even remember you. But regarding your question, I have a scenario where I just said, no, I have a boyfriend, and it didn't really work out in my favor. And when I was not with that boyfriend anymore, he saw it as his opportunity to jump in because I didn't have a boyfriend anymore. And we ended up being pretty good friends while I had the boyfriend, and then no more boyfriend. That was his opportunity. And unfortunately, after that whole incident, our friendship fizzled and I don't talk to him anymore. So I would just suggest saying no. Don't add the because I have a boyfriend or no, I have a boyfriend. It's just giving them some excuse. They're only paying attention to the boyfriend part, not the no.
Yeah, I think that it is one of those situations that when a man asks a woman out and she says, no, I'm married or something. No, I have a boyfriend. No, I'm not dating right now. What he hears is no, but there's a chance. Like, and that's
So
all
you're
he hears.
saying,
Like, exactly. Like, no, but try me later. And that like, no, but the situation may change. And like that's what they hear other than the no. They even hear that when you just say no. Like,
true,
so you can just be like, no, I'm not interested. And they can think,
not
oh
right
well,
now,
yeah, well, okay.
maybe
What do I
later.
do to make you interested, or will you change your mind, or something like that? So, I do agree that the second best thing to do is just to be very straight and upfront and just say no. The first thing to probably do is just anytime a man asks you out, just shriek and point at him at the top of your lungs until he runs away. Like, and just don't do anything other than that. Just make full eye contact with him, like wide open eyes, and just go, just scream and point at him, and he'll run away and he'll never ask you out again. He won't think there's any chance because he'll be terrified of you. So that's what I would say is the best option. But the second best option is just to say no.
Actually, I've seen a couple of videos of people just, if a guy at a club asks you, hey, you want to go out or whatever, you just start dancing really weird and
Right.
just like convulsing on the dance floor or whatever. And they're like, what the fuck is wrong with them? And then they leave.
Yes, there's a TikToker that I follow who's fantastic. I think her name's Caffeinated Kitty, and she says she's a villain life coach. I don't know if you've ever seen her
I like
stuff,
that.
but she will like women will suggest scenarios or how do you deal with this or whatever, and she will explain how she like, and she's very like she's tiny, she's petite, she's like adorable, but she will go like she will make any guy uncomfortable. Like she's just like, oh, I just turn my head like this and I open my eyes a little bit, and and I look at them and like and until they walk away, and they're terrified, and so she's managed to turn this into a thing where if men think that you're crazy, they're not even gonna try anymore. And so if you're polite to them, they think, oh well, there's a chance, which is just such a fucked up scenario. Men, hey men, you're not entitled to women. Okay, can we just like, I feel like this is just one of those things that if you ask somebody
Because
out, then and she says no, that's it. Just walk away forever.
it goes back to what we've always said, though, that men think being single is a bad thing and women are constantly trying to change that.
Yeah.
So them asking them out is like, here's your chance to not be single anymore and improve your life. And women are saying, fuck that. No, thank you.
Yeah, it's been recent comments in my TikTok videos with these men that are like, you're not happy being alone. What are you talking about? And when we're like, yeah, no, I'm perfectly happy being alone. And these men just cannot understand it because they're projecting their own, like that they can't handle being alone. And so they're projecting it. And it's just crazy. It really is like, I don't know. Just the lack of emotional intelligence is terrifying.
Yeah. So moral of the story, say no to men.
Yes. Just say no in
Make
general.
a weird face and say no. That's also a good way if a guy's following you or being creepy around you, just start dancing really weird or make a weird face or scream.
Yeah.
Do something bizarre.
Yeah, exactly.
Scare them.
There's so many things you can do that might help. And so to answer your question, yes, just say no. I think that if I ask somebody out and they gave me if they gave me a legitimate idea that there might be a chance in the future, then that's what I would hold on to. I wouldn't hold on to the no. I would hold on to the potential for the future.
Well,
And
there's the difference of saying no, I'm not really in the
place right now.
headspace right
Like, yeah, no,
now, or
yeah,
place right now, whatever. Yeah. Or yeah, just that's not a priority for me right now. Saying something like that is a little different.
Yeah, but
Than
I mean that's the
saying
thing
just
is like if
no.
someone's saying, "No, I have a boyfriend right now." You know what I mean? Like that's kind of it's like
Right now.
it's the same, like at this current moment I have a boyfriend, so that's the obstacle. Not no, I don't want to go out with you. That's the the main obstacle.
But even, and I want to correct a little bit of what I just said. Even the no is still just move on with your life. Just
Yeah,
because that's not a priority right now or whatever now or blah, blah, blah doesn't fucking matter.
yeah,
It's still a no.
yep. I agree. And
Yeah.
simple one. If you have a question, we would love to hear what you have to say. As Sarah said, you can give us a call at 407-519-0181. And you can email us as well. And we do like your input, and I do love getting questions from people because I'm sure you have something you're curious about or something you want to talk about, and we would love to address it on air
We're
And
not
you can,
always qualified, but we do
well,
try.
we're never qualified, but we're totally going to we're totally going to tackle it anyways. All right, we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break, and we're going to get into the as Sarah said, the age-old question, which I thought was funny. You said that in our intro, because the
Man
age-old
versus
question,
bear.
yeah, which is like it's like a
It now
question
will
nobody's
be.
asked except in the last 2 weeks, but it's an age-old question.
It is now.
Yes, man versus bear. So we'll be back after this quick break.
I'm critically online. I don't think that's a new concept for anyone to grasp.
Right.
And I introduce things to Adam all the time. And he's like, I don't see this on my social media pages. How are you seeing this? And this is one of those instances where I feel like I had to show you all of the responses for what we're about to get into.
You showed me a lot of the responses. I had seen some clips from it because a lot of because it goes with the content that I make on TikTok. So a lot of
True.
my followers have been sending me different things. But I hadn't really been paying too much attention to it. I didn't realize how big it had gotten until you kind of started sending me some of the more.
It was all I was seeing. Yeah.
Takes.
So women, what I was seeing originally was women stitching this guy who was asking the question, if you were alone in the woods, would you rather choose a man or a bear? And it's all women on my For You page that were just answering bear, bear, bear. Like 0 women were saying man.
Right.
No surprise, right? And then I was seeing other weird stitches of women stitching men, of the men who were really pissed off, going, I don't understand why you wouldn't pick man. We're not going to kill you. They're like, well.
Yeah, what I thought was funny too is that, like, the original hypothetical was very simple. It was just, what would you rather encounter in the woods, or or like I don't even think it was a question. I think it was more of a statement. Like, women would rather encounter a bear in the woods than a man. And he was kind of making a statement to kind of like try to educate men, and women were like, yep, agreeing with it. But men then got pissed and turned this into this complicated like series of weird hypotheticals that like got more and more complex and like slippery slope type arguments. Like, all right, so if you have 2 babies and you're walking through the woods and there's a bear nearby charging at you, and then there's a man with a cabin and he has a door open, you're gonna go throw your kids at the bear because you're a bad parent, like that's the shit they're coming up with.
That's not where we were talking
right, yeah, or like, yeah, or you're like, you're jogging through a path and all of a sudden a bear starts charging at you, and a man pulls up with a truck and's like, get in. You're gonna just go ahead and like take the bear, right? And like, instead of like trying to listen, they just like, let me come up with as many hypotheticals because these women are stupid and I'm gonna prove it to them.
And men will save the day from the bear.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously, because we're men and we're so fucking great. Versus just if you picture it right now and close your eyes and you're standing alone in the woods and a bear approaches you and there's no one else around, a bear approaches you or a man approaches you, which would you feel more comfortable with?
Right.
I think the bear.
And there's a lot of like it makes sense. It does make sense. And
it's unfortunate, really, because
yeah.
you would hope that men wouldn't be, and this is like every fucking episode we have on this goddamn podcast, right? You would hope that men wouldn't be so shitty. But time and time again, we've learned as a society that men do fucking shitty things, and we can't fully trust men. So why would we in this scenario?
And you can't tell which men are going to be the ones that are shitty, and that's the, I think, the big underlying thing that so many men are having trouble grasping as well. If you see a bear in the woods, you know that bear is a wild creature, and you know that it's acting on instinct, and that, for example, if it's recently eaten, it's going to leave you alone. If you get really big and loud and make a lot of noise, it's probably going to get scared away, and it's not going to want the effort. Like, it's an animal. It's not a smart animal. It's clever, but it's not intelligent in that sense. And you know that you have certain things that will work. But if you have a creepy dude walking towards you and you get large and loud and try to scare him away, that might just turn him on. If you tell a bear, no, and you smack it on the nose with a stick, it's likely to run away because it doesn't want any pain. Men, that's not going to work on a creepy man. And so then but men are be like, well, I would never do that. But how does someone know?
Yeah. And I think most men like to think that the other guys in their circle are also quote unquote good guys that would never do anything terrible. So why would women choose a bear? Because all the men that they know would never do anything shitty. But how well do they really know their friends? And maybe you do have really good friends, but that's a sliver of the male population in any of these instances.
I had someone in Facebook, because this is spread beyond TikTok to Instagram,
Yeah.
Twitter, Facebook, everywhere. And this guy was getting really upset and saying that, it's hard when you're, good men. And he said something like, this misses the mark by making all men rapists and murderers, when in reality, a vast majority of men are protectors with integrity. And I wrote back and I said, in reality, the vast majority of men are not protectors. They are enablers and silent partners in what bad men do. They're excusers and what were you wearing-ers. They're male privilege deniers and jurors who say he has a bright future. So that was kind of what I replied to him. And of course, I think women understood it, but a lot of men just did not understand it. And it's like, dude, I mean,
but this is a chance, because the question was asked for the chance for men to understand why women would choose bear. And men are missing the point, and they're just getting defensive about how great, like, women should have chosen us because we're so great and women are stupid.
Right.
Instead of going, why would a woman not want to choose a guy? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me look at myself and ask other women what would make them feel uncomfortable. What about men makes them feel uncomfortable?
Mhm.
But instead going on the attack and just criticizing women's intelligence, saying that we're all stupid for choosing a bear. Come on.
So I think what would be good is maybe, and I'm sure people have seen some of these, but I think that maybe identifying some of the maybe reasons that women have said, some of the responses that women have given as to why they would choose the bear, and it might be, I think it's kind of sobering, and I think that it might be good for people to hear this if they haven't heard the arguments, or if they're new to this, or if they're a man.
Yeah. Okay. So here are some of the responses from women. People would believe me if I said I was attacked by a bear.
Mhm.
The bear sees me as a human being.
That one's like fucking dark.
Yeah.
And we've done an episode. Do men actually like women as human beings? We've done a legitimate episode all about that, identifying the fact that most men do not see women as human beings, and so that really hit home.
If I survive the bear attack, I won't have to see it at family reunions.
Yeah.
The worst thing the bear can do is kill me.
Yeah, that was a solid one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one I think a lot of men also don't understand. That's one of the hardest ones for men to understand.
But for women, I think it's the most obvious one.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Bears don't get enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
No one will say, I liked the bear attack. The men not getting this don't realize that there are fates worse than death.
Mm-hmm.
Every woman knows a woman who's been raped or sexually assaulted, yet no men know a rapist. Cognitive dissonance.
That's another good point too. Is men like to try to pull out statistics and everything when it benefits them. And I saw men saying like, 4% of there's apparently it's only 4% of men that are violent offenders or something like that. And I was like, well, that's interesting. When we also look at other statistics that show that 98% of women have been sexually harassed in some capacity, and that 2 out of 3 women have been, at least at the minimum, reportedly have been assaulted in some capacity. So are you trying to tell me that it's just that 4% of men that are doing all of that? Or is it a lot of other men that are doing behaviors that men support?
Right. Next one. The amount of men getting pissy about this pretty much illustrates why so many women are choosing the bear.
Yeah, it's like they're just further making the point, right?
Right. Men always more concerned about getting their feelings hurt than the fact that women are unilaterally suffering from violence and murder at the hands of men.
That's a, and that also, it's funny that I would say that also ties into something recently I've seen with like false accusations, where men are like, well, what about women who make false accusations, ignoring the fact that men are more likely to be sexually assaulted by other men than they are to have a false accusation levied at them. And men suffer at the hands of other men, suffer violence and murder, and men are still the bigger problem, and it's like, you'd think men would understand that they're the when you say man is the world's greatest predator, it's not just of women, it is of other men too. And so, but men don't want to admit that, they like, that would somehow be weak to admit that. So you pulled something from Reddit, that was I don't know what do you remember what subreddit it was? Like, was it just
honestly, it was people talking about this man versus bear scenario, and people were going off in the comments about their reactions to it.
Okay. So then this was a woman who was who was talking about this. Do you want to go ahead and read it?
Yeah. Okay. Here's her question. Is anyone else flabbergasted? Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Let's start over. Is anyone else flabbergasted experiencing men's reactions to women choosing a bear to the would you rather be stuck in the woods with a man or bear question? I, 39 female, was asked by an acquaintance, and my answer was unless the man is one of my family members, I'd choose the bear. And he got really pissed off. He ranted on and on about how I'm being sexist and telling me, you're a tough woman. What are you even afraid of? You could take care of yourself if you had to. Bro, what? I walked away, unfriended, and blocked him. He is not wrong, as I am tough, but that's only because I survived a sexual assault and domestic violence barely. I was born in a developing country and was raised with self-defense lessons. Both my parents and my family raised us to be able to protect ourselves. We moved to a first world country when I was in my late teens. All that training failed when I needed it. After a lot of therapy, looking back, a part of me was scared of hurting him and getting deported. I really wish we could put all of this misogynistic, evil twats. I'm sorry, let me read that again. I really wish we could put all of the misogynistic, evil twats on an island and seal it off from the rest of us, and then they can exist alone in their manosphere. And then I'd answer men.
Yeah, and first of all, women can't be sexist towards men. Sexism, just like racism. Yes, I know what the actual dictionary definition has, but definitions evolve as society evolves, and sexism and racism is a power dynamic, and so the person with the power cannot experience the ism, and so like white people cannot experience racism, and men, you cannot experience sexism. You might be able to experience some level of prejudice in certain areas, but that's not the same thing. So let's just say that when men say you're being sexist, I immediately stop listening to anything they have to say because they're idiots. But yeah, this concept of you're a tough woman, what are you afraid of, is essentially being like, yeah, men are shitty, but you're tough. You could handle a creepy guy. Like that's what he's saying too.
Yeah, sure. Get over it. Get over yourself. You can handle a man.
Yeah. And yes, I do think that, if you could basically take all of the men and put them on an island, then you'd be fine.
I think everyone would choose man at that point.
Yeah. Well, do you remember there was a time when someone said, if men weren't around for 24 hours, what would you do? And
oh my God, I do remember that.
And women were just like, I would take a walk at night. Like I would go to the gym without worrying about what I was wearing. I would, I'd go to a club and dance and have a drinks without having to cover my drinks, all of these things that they would be willing, like, and men, of course, once again, got defensive about it. And I feel like that's the biggest issue of all of this. It's not the hypothetical. It's how men react to these hypotheticals, and how men will get so fucking defensive, as if like
it's a personal attack on them, when we're just saying in a general statement, men, you suck.
Right. Well, like the thing is, it's like, because in the same breath, a man will say something like, I have, well, I'm a protector and a provider, and I'm there to if anyone hurts my girl, I'll be there to kill them, and like they're trying to pretend like they're these violent people who are holding in the violence for their partner. They're just barely brimming over with all this violence anyway. Like that's kind of like this the toxic masculinity aspect of this that you'll see, is men will say those things, and it's like, so you're admitting that you don't know how to control yourself and that you have no emotional intelligence. And like if you let your anger get away from you, like that's not going to be a good thing for a woman, even if you think you're protecting them. And I think that with with this, just every man has men who I am surprised at some of the men that I've been seeing who have gotten upset
Are
about
mad
this.
about this whole thing?
Yeah, like we've had actually men in our Facebook group that have gotten upset about it and like are taking it personally. And I just don't understand like the mentality. And I think that
Is this enough though? I think men are just done with being criticized, so this is really the straw that breaks the camel's back. Is that what
maybe,
it
but
is?
it's just like, it's yeah, I don't know if that's what it is. It's just finally this man versus bear. Men have always just assumed, well, at least women will choose me. They're not going to choose a wild animal. And now they're like, nope, we're going to choose the wild animal, and I think that maybe it's just finally kind of clicking for even men who have been able to kind of like convince themselves that they're good, that they're good men, and maybe they are. They're still taking offense at it. And I don't know. What are your thoughts on how men are reacting to this?
Well, so then there's the irrational thoughts, like you're saying, and
Yeah.
then there's also responses from men. What really made me go, "Holy shit," was this TikTok video I saw that got taken down apparently. I don't know. I can't find it anymore. But this wife asked her husband the question, and he has to think about it for a while
Yeah.
and go back and it wasn't an immediate man,
Right.
and he had to think about it. And her question was phrased with if our daughter is alone, man or bear.
Yep.
And because it was someone that he loves, changed the question completely for him, I think.
Yeah.
And he ultimately chose bear. I was like, well, yeah. Now do you understand why?
And I think I saw a similar one where it was it might have been also a daughter one, but he was like having issue with it. She goes, okay, well, let me ask you this. If you had the choice between leaving your daughter with a woman in the woods or a bear, which one? And he'd be like, woman. Like, and he answered it instantly.
Immediate.
Woman. But when it was man versus bear, he had trouble. And then like I think that made him kind of understand a little bit. Oh, why am I wrestling with this? Like so much. But if it was a woman, of course, no problem. Like I'm not even gonna second guess that.
Yeah.
And yeah,
But that's sad. That in itself is a sad response,
Yeah, it's a lack of empathy, and which is what you find with a lot of I think a lot of men who just haven't built that emotional intelligence. They don't have the ability to put themselves in someone else's shoes. And these same men who will ignore male privilege, for example, they just don't understand the fact that men have a certain lens that they see the world, and women have a different lens, and it does affect it. I mean, it's the same thing as walking to your car and in a parking lot and just being alert, and
right.
and things like that. And I think that men are they're just not capable of putting themselves in those shoes. If you have a little fucking empathy and you think about it and you're like, okay, if women don't know who's dangerous and they don't know who's safe, and they do know all of the things that men have done to women, which does not end or begin with death. And a woman encounters a bear and a man, either a bear or a man in the woods, you can understand why the bear has a predictability to it. The bear has is acting on instinct. The man is making an active choice, and these men are choosing to be terrible people. So you don't know what this man has chosen that day. Has he chosen violence that day? So and if you look at it in that way, and you're like, it's not that she's saying that all men are worse than bears. That's not what this hypothetical is saying. This hypothetical
is the chance. Which chance are you taking?
Exactly. It's the fact that there are enough men that are more terrifying than bears in what they would do to someone, and the permanent, long-lasting repercussions of that a woman would rather take her chances with a bear. And so as a man, you should look at that and say, oh my God, what have men done? What have we done as men? What have we done to this world that's the choice that women are making? And instead of coming up with a bunch of hypotheticals and trying to convince women that you're stupid for thinking of this,
because that's going to win an argument is calling the other side stupid, right?
Yeah, exactly. That always works, right?
Works.
Yeah, that always works to make the other side feel completely unheard.
But then it just again goes back to the points. Like, we've had how many thousands of years of being oppressed by men.
Right.
And now you're going to say we're stupid? Okay.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
another one for the books.
Exactly. And I think that what men can do is you listen to this and you say, that is awful. That is fucked up. What would make you feel safe? And I think that those and don't put that burden on the woman having to educate you on what would make people feel safe. It's a rhetorical question. And then you should be able to say, okay, when you see bad behavior by men, you call it out. And that doesn't mean when women are around and you're trying to look like a good guy in front
Impress
of the
or
woman.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That means you do it even if you're around your friends and it's just you and your other friends and they're saying something. It means
Right.
that you say something like, hey, that's not okay. It means that you call out the bad behavior. It means you don't make excuses for the behavior. You don't play the devil's advocate just because when a woman has a discussion, you don't need to have a counter argument for it every time. You don't, you're aware of how your privilege leads you to see the world, and you don't do things like make excuses and say, well, they, like in rape trials where they're like these other men who might be decent men are making excuses. Well, he's young, or he didn't know what he was doing, or he has his whole life ahead of him, they ignore the fact of what happened to the victim. And I think that if a bear attacked a woman in the woods, men would get together and hunt that bear down and kill it. I mean, that's standard.
That is
that's
accurate.
standard.
Yeah.
What would happen? If a man attacked a woman in the woods, men would
Nothing
protect
happens.
that other man.
Yeah. Nothing would happen.
Yeah, he, and they would make excuses, and they would ask her what she was wearing, and they would ask her why she was there in the first place, and maybe she liked it anyways, and all of these other things, and that's the problem. And that's what men have to understand. Men have to look at that scenario and realize that we have to police men, and we have to be vocal about it, and we have to be aggressive about it, and we need to stop putting up with shitty men. We need to stop emboldening men. And it's not even us emboldening them. We don't want men to feel like they have that power. And if other men call them out, if enough other men call them out, then they will lose that power.
Yeah. I think that's the problem, and like the dynamic right now is we're trying to get more men on the other side to call out shitty behavior, and the shitty behavior men are fighting tooth and nail to keep whatever power in that dynamic that they have. And so this shift is causing even more controversy than maintaining at status quo and just letting it slide.
Yes. And then I'm seeing men say, well, like with all this just makes me not want to be a good man anymore, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
oh, that's your takeaway?
Yeah,
wow.
Exactly. And I'm like, hey, you're not a good man then. Like if that's if that's your takeaway, then you were not a good man to begin with. If you're like, well, all this talk just makes me not want to be a good person. Well, then you're not a fucking good person, because you don't do it for the recognition.
And then they wonder why they're single.
Yes.
They're like, I don't understand why I can't get a date. Adam, from your perspective though, man versus bear, which would you choose?
Bear.
You would really choose bear?
I just think bears are cool.
Okay. I felt like
I went walking in Yellowstone looking for a bear by myself
not your smartest.
Yeah, without my wallet or phone. Yes, and
thank
fell
God
down a hill.
happened.
I still think though I feel like bears would be safer. Because if I was
just the chance of surviving is better.
Who knows what a random dude, like how, what the fuck's why is he in the woods? Why am I in the woods? But like which one of us
I get in the scenario?
Which one of us is wrong for being in the woods? But like and so a bear, like I said, I would know how to like be loud and tall and get it to run away, and if not, well then oh well. But it's funny when I heard the scenario, like it never even occurred to me that it'd be controversial. That's the funny thing.
Right.
Like when I heard it, I was just like, yeah, why would she choose man? I mean, like of course, like it made so much sense to me, and it's blowing my mind that so many men are getting so butthurt by this.
It goes back to that dynamic. They're not used to not being the center of fucking everything and being right and having all their privilege. And so this is just one more nail in the coffin of they're losing this fight, and women are being finally heard, and they don't fucking they don't like it at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they have no control over it. because they can't get dates. Can't get dates, aren't having sex, aren't getting the same appreciation that they once got, which whatever the fuck that means. And so this answer is basically just that right in their faces.
And it comes down to the last, we might have talked about last episode, but the idea that women don't need men anymore, that it's all about trying to be someone that women want to be with. And instead of like men being like, well, but I'm used to being the protector and the provider, even though no, you really weren't, dude. But like that's like the mindset that they had, and now they have to actually be a partner. And so many men are unwilling to shift from that initial perspective, and that's going to be to their own detriment. It's not going to be something that women are going to be affected by. It's just those men are going to be alone.
Yep. I'm telling you, I mean, this is my woo-woo horoscope girl stuff, but we are in the age of Aquarius right now. So a lot of things are getting uprooted in the world as we're seeing in the news and everything else. So this is just one of those things where women are waking up saying, we don't want to fucking deal with this anymore. Age of Aquarius, just keep your eyes peeled. It'll continue.
Age of Aquarius?
Yeah, it's from the musical Hair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, look at you.
I'm an Aquarius, so I think I've heard that song before for some reason.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much to everyone for bearing with us.
Stop, that was bad. I know you're probably waiting for
as we got into the grisly details about a polarizing topic.
You done?
Hold on, I'm trying to think if there's any other bears I can do. Hopefully this is a high quality episode.
Do something with Panda. You gonna do something?
Yes, and once again, we are never going to pander to our audience.
Oh God!
I just fit in so many bears of that. I'm pretty impressed with that.
I mean, yeah. If we got specific with which type of bear, I think more people would actually choose bear too.
Yeah, I was like, whether kind of a koala or a man or whatever. Like, oh, obviously koala, But,
right. Well, what are your thoughts on this whole man versus bear scenario? You can sound off on our DKS hotline at 407-519-0181, or you can send us an email at datingkindofsuckspodcast@gmail.com.
Yep, you can join our Facebook group where there is already a lively discussion going on, and men are being butthurt, which I'm very disappointed in those men. When you listen to this episode, I'm extremely disappointed in you. But you can join that Facebook group, and that's facebook.com/group/DKS Podcast. Of course, you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/DKS Podcast as well. We do have this on video as well as audio. And so if you're just listening to us, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/datingkindofsucks. You can subscribe because there's all types of shorts that get up there that are really controversial that I put up too.
That gets all the comments.
All the best YouTube comments. High quality YouTube comments.
And that same content is posted on our Instagram at Dating Kinda Sucks, which gets like no comments, no shitty comments for the most part. Let's keep it that way. You can follow Adam at Adam Heathavitable on TikTok and myself at simply Sarah G_ as well. And if you've been a listener for a while, don't forget that we would still love a rating and review on iTunes, 5 stars if you can, and a good follow on Spotify and a rating on there.
Absolutely. And we will be back either in 2 weeks with a new episode, or in a month
and 5 years
and some days with a new episdo, or who knows? It all depends on the quality of the internet in Argentina. In Argenzuela, wherever Sarah's going to be next. But we'll be back then with a brand new episode.
Until next time.
Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we give no fuck on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yucks, trying and having no luck, because we all know dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are two of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this show to make any buck. Life as a chicken whose feathers they pluck. Why does it work? Well, here is the crux. They both know dating kinda sucks. Dating kinda sucks.